Excellent. We're learning how to enter of the nets. Or we're not. Emphasis on the not. Don't start watching the show yet. We haven't started. It just makes us do this shit now. Jeez Louise. Anyhow. You're early. Go pour your coffee. Maybe you're still in line at Starbucks. Yeah, we get together as a group and watch this shit there. Oh, cool. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyhow, we're going to start the show when we start it. Which is going to be very soon, probably. You don't know. But I do know. We're about ready to start now. Okay. Well. Oh, yes. Conversation. Oh, well. I guess that's on us. Welcome to Chatty Coffee Crew. All ones of you joining us. We have got a fantastic show for you today. Okay, well, we've got a show for you today anyhow, and of course we are talking about remakes and remasters. Of course, buying games more than once, buying it twice, so that you can, play it and beat it again. Just like when we go to the, DVD store to buy our DVDs. It's a boomer item. Don't worry about it. You go to the DVD store to buy your DVDs, you usually get 2 copies so that you can watch it twice. It's like VHS. They don't make those anymore. You could rewind those. But that other stuff, it's crazy. But along the realms of games, there lays an argument on both ends of the spectrum of whether a game is wholeheartedly worth remaking, remastering, reproducing, and re-putting out, or if a game is worth reintroducing to the market because you want some money, okay? With how the game industry works, there are viable arguments on both sides. Yes, thank you for the love hearts. Oh, that means you loves us. Is that you, Mom? Anyhow, she watches all of our streams. Anyhow, with the game industry, how it is, how it's centered, how it works around and goes, you have, takes on it where people are completely happy buying a second iteration, a second copy, a second, endeavor or go through of a video game, all right? And sometimes it's inherently warranted totally out of the gate. Yo, yes, yo to all of ones of you out there watching this. Hello and hi. There's games where it's completely worth a remake and a remaster. You look at stuff like the Master of the Chief Collection, okay? Inherently, that was probably worth a remake and a remaster to bring it back into the market. Was it a cash grab, hands down by Microsoft, to just cash in on their, intellectual property of Halo? Well, no, but it was a, barge that came floating down the river of floating that fucking company through the Xbox One with the Kinect attached to it and all of that, okay? They had like 2 games. Okay, Sunset Overdrive was awesome, but that wasn't even theirs. They just, exclusive, right, whatever. The point is that, they didn't have a lot to them. It wasn't a cash grab. That was a reintroduction, a reintroducing of Halo 1 through 3, whatever, on there, to go through in the modern times, right? A little bit better frame rate, a little bit better graphics, a little bit improved storyline, a little bit more synergy with the disconnected story at times and things of that nature that you don't really think about or recall because as you're going through the game, inherently you're just going through the game of Halo and blasting little alien dudes, right? There are some games, though, that come out that might be warranted to have a first remaster, a first re-release, okay? when a new platform comes out and things of that nature. And we're thinking of, obviously, the ones like The Last of Us. Not part 2. We still haven't played that and refuse to play that, okay? But you have The Last of Us, all right? And with this game, with it coming out at the end of the PS3 life cycle, all right, it really left a lot of desire to have a title like that that had such a resounding success at the end of a generational console that you wanted to reintroduce it, replay it, and have better frame rate, better graphics, better this, that, the other. And it was the flagship title and, program that PlayStation was rolling with. So they rock out the remaster. All right, we picked it up. We've now bought this game twice. This one, okay, and on the PS of the 3. Okay, now with this one, the remaster, we got access to the lost levels where we got to finally discover Ellie's sexual orientation, which was on our minds throughout the entire first game. Okay, it's like she was bit by a zombie and she's still alive. Yeah, but who does she like to have sex with? The questions that matter to people. Hold on, no, we're thinking of something completely different. We didn't want anything to... We don't need to know that. We just need to know how badass she is at taking out zombies, saving the day, getting her fingers chopped off, right? What the fuck am I watching? I don't know. Hold on, management's calling. What do you want? We're on time. We're doing the show. Oh, no. Yeah, we got ones of viewers right now. They're loving it. Well, yeah, it's our mom. Yeah, well, stop calling us. You're ruining the show. Sorry about that. Management was wanting us to move on to the next title and get out of The Last of Us. It got a little crazy there. But so let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's bounce around. Let's go to other games that totally deserved and warranted a remaster and a remake, okay? And then they decided to take the entire library and the entire franchise and remake the whole fucking thing. Not the whole thing, but more than they probably needed to, okay? We're Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 1, 2, and soon to be 3, 4 in that shit, right? Now, iconic game that Tony Hawk was, okay? One of our favorite things to always talk about is there was an article written that said you might as well change the name of the PlayStation to That Thing That Plays Tony Hawk. That's how iconic that game was in that time period, in that era of its release, all right? That game set a precedent for skateboarding amongst the mainstream, all right? And with that, everyone fell in love with it. Everyone enjoyed it. Everyone had their time with it. We spent hours and hours and hours of the Tony Hawk, playing Tony Hawk, right? We got the different iterations. We got the different ones that came out. But now what do? Obviously, they bring it back out, which is fine. All right, cool. Hey, we picked that up too. Not full price, not when it first came out. We got this shit on like a Black Friday, like it was like 15 bones, okay? And that's still a little pricier than we'd like to admit we shelled out for, but we are a shill for Tony Hawk after all. Except in the case of the new ones coming out, Part 3 and 4 remakes, that we have no desire to pick up, play, or, really even touch. We never even really went back through and finished rebeating the first Tony Hawk 1 and 2 that came out. Now, for current skateboarders, we used to skate, we don't know more, okay? For current skateboarders who need that itch scratched and everything like that, it's going to be perfect, right up your alley, everything like that. They're even doing things like changing the original game by adding new characters and things like that. So you'll have a great time. You'll be like, hey, I recognize all these people. On the other hand, folks like us will be like, what the fuck are these guys doing in our game? Did Ryan Sheckler grow up and have kids? What the fuck is this? Probably not what we're going to be looking for. Okay, Not one of those things that we desire to touch base with or anything like that. Now, with that one, we believe it's going to fall into the realm of hidden Game Pass and such like that. So, will we dabble in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 and, inherently say, no, we're not going to visit that remake remaster? Because no, we're still not that monthly subscription to Game Pass, right? So, of course, with that, we need to get our money's worth. So we might very well dabble with it, but we do not intend to or plan to. We're not going to make room for it right away. There's still plenty of stuff for us to go through. We've been playing more than we should the Lost and Random, part 2 or whatever. Which, holy shit, again, no one better compare that shit to the Lost and Random 1. Completely different style. Anyhow. Where were we? Oh yes, remakes and remasters. Sometimes games get remade and remastered for the most silliest of reasons, or the most political of reasons, or the most money of reasons, or the most reasons of reasons. Doesn't make sense. Whatever, don't worry about it. You have games that are completely changed in little ways, little means, okay? Talking about you, Spider-Man. Or, should we say, Peter Parker from the first version of Spider-Man versus Peter Parker from the not first version of Spider-Man? They changed Peter Parker's face. Did you know that? They did. Now you do. Something about proprietary rights in one of those money decisions, right? So instead of paying the original, we would believe, now this is conjecture on our part, we don't know. Instead of paying the original entities that had a hand in shaping, making, or forming the original Spider-Man game and, maybe coming off a little bit of that cheese, because the game performed well. Now, maybe it was a little bit of greed on the part of the talent, but fuck it, we're changing your face, bitch. Like, oh, crazy. Now you have a new Peter Parker in the Spider of the Man remake. That, well, whatever, not necessarily remake, but Spider of the Man. On the new iterations versions. The point is that sometimes changes happen that inherently don't probably need to happen, but they do. Sometimes games are remastered and it's completely warranted, or there's talk of them being remastered and it's probably completely warranted. Now, we've loved Days of the Gone, okay, since it came out. All right? It's no secret we love Days of the Gone. We went to bat for Days of the Gone when a lot of people didn't like Days of the Gone. And a lot of people did not like Days of the Gone. But you know who did? This guy right here. Hold on. Management's calling again. Fucking cheat. You'd think they think. What? We're on a roll. What do you mean stop talking about how we were right about Days Gone? Well, it's our only talking point. It's a bragging right. That's street cred. You don't know what you're talking about. All right, love you too, Mom. Anyhow, sorry about that. Days Gone, when they brought that one back out, and they were like, hey, well, they didn't bring it back out. There's talk of bringing it back out. Then that's great talk, because there are some shortcomings to the game. It's not a flawless, perfect, runaway masterpiece hit. But we enjoyed our time with it, and we definitely liked it, and talk of the, bringing it back, that's fantastic. That'd probably be a good remake. Now, unfortunately, at the same time, we think that's a horrible remake, and we think they shouldn't remake it at all. You can update it. You can release a $10 patch for it. Okay? Don't re-release Days Gone and charge full fucking price for that shit. No. You release a $10 upgrade, you gives us some better stuff, and that's it, okay? We're not paying full price for another Days Gone run. Thank you, though. We love the game. Bend Studios, you can bend us over anytime. Take our wallet out of our back pocket for a different iteration of a game that you make, and we'll happily let you. But for another Days Gone iteration, even a remaster of a game that we love, we're not paying full price for that. Okay? We don't care about those upgraded specs on that. We've had our time with it. Okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with those that haven't checked it out and are going to get to experience it full price at better graphics, better frames, better gameplay elements that have been tweaked, twerked, perfected. That's great. But, that's going to be for the individual consumer. Okay, maybe you don't like open world games. Maybe you want nothing to do with a motorcycle rider that goes around fighting zombies. Maybe you don't want to take on hordes and hordes of zombies that are amazing, the most amazing zombie horde we had ever seen back in PS4 days. So, you throw that on the PS5, probably going to look pretty fantastic, do pretty well. We'll pay a $10 upgrade, maybe you'll sucker us for that. And we don't usually do that, but we probably would do that with that game. What we won't do is buy another full copy of it for $70 on PS5 version. Okay? We refuse to do that unless it's super, super low clearance. Okay? That's our only price point of admission on that. Super, super low clearance. We love Days Gone. We've gone through Days Gone. We've played Days Gone. Okay? You can't, as well, take a franchise like Days Gone, take the same characters from that story, and make a Days Gone 2 out of it. They really need to not. They can have the characters in the story. They can have them in the location. They can have them in the world, in the universe, but you really should have nothing to do with them. They shouldn't be playable. Minorly interactable, if anything. You really don't want to take a game like Days Gone that was a full fleshed out story, all right, and try and make a part 2 out of it. Okay? Now, we know we talked about it a sec ago, and we never played it, so we're not positive, but that would be along the lines of one of those games we never asked for. Okay? We love The Last of Us. We've never played The Last of Us 2. We didn't even pick The Last of Us 2 up when GameStop had that shit for $5 on Black Friday years back. Okay? A mere handful of months after it had come out, because they were sitting on so many copies of that game because no one wanted it. We refused to buy it, play it. Now the remasters and the remakes of more Last of Us. PlayStation's been cranking out so many Last of Us, you would think it's Last of Us Station. Yes, hello, hi again. Welcome to ChattyCoffeeCrew. We hope that you have your coffee. It's not a prerequisite or anything, but it's in the name of the show. Oh, it can be tea or water or milk, Gatorade or juice. Or it can be a lot of stuff. It can be anything. If you're just joining us now, we're guessing that you probably do have coffee and you were in Starbucks line waiting for that shit. You're right. We know. But you're joining the show at a great part because we have this much coffee left, so that means that, okay, it's not almost over. Maybe you're not joining at a great part, but whatever. So, welcome. We're talking about games. We're just talking about games we didn't want or ask for, like the remaster remake of Last of Us 2 when we didn't even want Last of Us 2. So, now we're going to talk about games that should have a remake or a remaster, and then we're going to go all around the place and talk about whatever we want. Feel free to interact with the crappiest internet celebrity that there is while we're here. Yes, all ones of you. We can barely keep up with all of these No comments coming in. So we'll just continue and take it you're so entranced and infatuated by what we have to say, you're too busy to type. Games that need to be remade, games that need to be remastered, games that should be revisited, franchises that deserve a second chance. Looking at you, Bethesda, and your game Wet, stuff like that, okay? Now, this is just an example. Wet did not win accolades across the, gaming sphere, obviously. A lot of people are like, what the hell's that game? Well, let us tell you about that game Wet. Wet, okay, Bethesda had a hand in, all right? And they keep releasing all of this other stuff that are part 2s and part 3s and this and that and the other. And just different things. Let's revisit some classics or let's make some new. Okay? Wet had a bad release window. And by bad, it wasn't a great release window. Okay? You get a smaller kind of Endeavor, man. Not as hyped up, not as talked about, not as, financially backed. All right? But Wet was a fantastic play for the elements of gameplay that it provided. All right? The music genre in games, okay, the play on beat, a lot of that stuff, I almost guarantee you some developers that make those games might have had a little touch or dabble with the game of Wet, okay, or might know about it, or at least know how impactful soundtracks can be, okay, to games and game elements and gameplay, all right? Whilst it wasn't, a massive success in any way, shape, or form, the soundtracks, one of the probably better game soundtracks that exist out there, as far as being innovative and doing stuff with music that genre-wise is never visited or really crossed over into. You got a lot of rockabilly and stuff like that, man, on here. A lot of elements that you don't get a lot of other places. So it'd be fantastic for a game like Wet to get another touch and another remaster and another, chance at a form of existence. Because the gameplay and the game elements are there. It didn't have a great release window. The core elements of the game are there. You could probably remaster that entire game, put it out, and have it be fairly successful, especially if you update one iota of elements of the gameplay, which we haven't thrown it in a minute. But gameplay-wise, with there being no need to reload in the game or anything like that, it seems like gameplay-wise, it could really, do with just those minor tweaks and upgrades and be fairly successful and carry over and be fairly relevant, all right? And not need some massive adaptation to the gameplay itself to make it function, work, or be an iota of fun, okay, for whoever checks it out and, plays with it or anything like that. So, I don't know. It'd be worth revisiting instead of remastering and remaking all these other games and franchises that they're like, hey, you know what we should make? Let's make another Borderlands. We haven't made one of those in it's been like a year or two. We should start making it. They're probably already making Borderlands 5, 6, and 7, and 8, and 9. They have so many studios making Borderlands. They call it Border Town, and it's a wing of their building. It's like, hey, this is Border Town. Everyone's working on Borderlands iterations over there, and they're all the same fucking game. No, they're different. They're different. This one has lots of guns. I mean, this one has 4 vault dwellers. I mean, this one's cell-shaded. I mean, this one people explode in when you destroy them. Yes, hello and hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just teasing Borderlands, of course, because tolerate you, Borderlands. We're just teasing. But we would love for all of you developers working on Borderlands out there, okay, and as soon as they see this, obviously, which they won't, we would love for all you developers working on Borderlands to, I don't know, make a different intellectual property or a different experience we could embark upon. We don't want to be Vault Dwellers. We haven't wanted to be Vault Dwellers since Borderlands 2. Okay? Now, we liked going into Borderlands 2 VR. But we're done dwelling in vaults. Okay? Even your takes on Borderlands with your Tiny Tina's Wonderland and your spin-off characters and this, that, the other. How is it the same game? I mean, it's not, but it is. There's elements of it that, we just don't dig. I think that you guys need a reboot and visit a different franchise. But we're obviously not the top executives at the company making those decisions. So please continue making Borderlands games that we will not buy. We take that back. We did buy them on clearance for super cheap. So please keep making all of these games that we will get on clearance for super cheap. No more than $5 or $10. Tiny Tina's, $5. Borderlands 3, $9.99 Black Friday. There you go. The pre-sequel, Part 2, Part 1. Epic gives that shit away for free all the time. No one's hurting to play more Borderlands, except Borderlands players. Okay, so maybe someone's waiting for it, but you know who's not? Us. We don't want to play no more Borderlands. We're done playing Borderlands when we turned it off, and we're done playing it, obviously. But if that's what the gaming community wants, more Borderlands, well, who are we to stand in their way? So you know what? Keep making Borderlands. We should be on Borderlands 10 by the end of the year. I hope it comes to fruition. And with as much copy and pasting and porting as they can do, and the algorithms that just randomly throw fucking gun parts together and shit, maybe we can make it a reality. It'd be fantastic. Oh man, have you played Borderlands 19 yet? No, I'm still on Borderlands 27. Okay, so that's even way more than 10. We're getting ahead of ourselves with wishful thinking on how long they can really milk this franchise. They must need a new pair of shoes as bad as we do. We're trying to drink coffee every day now. Anyhow, we've been picking on Borderlands for a while, but that's just because it's fun for us. We'll go back to what the show's supposed to be about and stop being mean. We're sorry, Borderlands fans and community. All one of you that have seen this. Our apology. I just don't like Borderlands. Anyhow, so remastered games, remade games. At least you're getting new Borderlands and they're not remastering and remaking the, older versions anymore, right? Yeah. Fantastic. Well, that's just great. Some games, like we said, need that remaster, need that remake, need that upgrade, need that experience. Word on the street is a lot of folks are pretty impressed by the Zelda on the Nintendo of the Switch 2. Tears of the Kingdom? Wow. Sounds impressive. It runs better? Well. Fantastic. It's great when stuff runs better. Explain your show. Huh? It's not our fault. That's management. Hold on. Management's calling. What do you want? What do you mean don't blame you? We're doing the show. You're ruining it. Leave us alone. Jeez Louise. They interrupt us all the time. Where were we? Hopefully ending this. Huh? What? No. We still have this much coffee left because we've been talking. Drink it faster. What? Fair enough. It's going to get cold and horrible. But, what's also getting cold and horrible is some of these remakes and remasters that are coming out with us not asking for them, with us not wanting them, with us not wanting to visit them, with us not wanting to be in the universe, with us not wanting to partake in the stories and the challenges that they offer. Us, as a gamer, we want the new games. There are some mechanics, some games, some styles of gameplay that are wholly worth revisiting and having iterations of a game come out. Let's talk about a little game called Grand Theft Auto, okay? When you talk Grand Theft Auto, with the exception of the first 2 releases in the series, which we were blessed enough to play on a bootleg copy of that shit, because there were places that did not allow that title and disc into their country. With Grand Theft Auto, with the exception of the first 2, you know what you're getting, okay? The exception to the rule with that game is that every single Grand Theft Auto is different. San Andreas, Vice City, 4, 5. The only thing they have in common is the open world element and the freedom of choice the player is given. Okay? The stories, complete stories, the fleshed out environments, for the most part different, okay? The love and attention to detail that they have thrown into that franchise and that game, every single release, while it's another moniker in the, list, Grand Theft Auto 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? That's the one that we wish we were on, Grand Theft Auto 29, because we know if the same studio has the same passion and the same love and development process for games, it'll be fantastic. Okay? Games like that can carry the weight of a franchise and be like, you can pile as many suffixes to the end of Grand Theft Auto that you want, and they will remain at a level of quality and a standard of acceptance and playability, okay, that few studios rival in their releases, even their hyped up releases, even studios that are granted a lot of leeway in their development, okay? Now, they've clawed their way back a little bit, but you look at that little studio that released that, what's that game? Oh, yeah, Cyberpunk, right? When that game came out, all of the issues and problems that it had, studio got raked over the coals. No longer were they the developers of Witcher 3, okay, blessed with their impervious record. No, they were the fuck-ups that dropped, Cyberpunk in a broken state. Thankfully, we were blessed enough to have the Series X and be able to have a functioning version of that game, okay, when we embarked on our time with it. It's clawed its way back. It's made its way back into, the realm of acceptability. They fixed so many elements that were broken or once were broken, okay, one way, shape, or form. They stuck with it. They made it better, okay? Because that's a studio that loves the project that they were working on. It was a new franchise, a new intellectual property that they dreamed would be able to carry a suffix on the end of it too. Cyberpunk 2077, Cyberpunk 2078, 2079, 2080. So many elements of that game surely left a lot of people, questioning a lot of choices that were made. Okay. Massive failure at launch. We were lucky enough to be able to play it. Okay. We had an okay experience with it. You have games that people, as developers, stick with and make better. You have franchises that developers crank out another copy. Okay. So if you take Borderlands and you take Grand Theft Auto and you compare, yes, you can't compare them, different games, first-person shooter. Some first-person elements in, Grand Theft Auto 5, whatever. All right. You take just the way that they're presented to the player. Okay, one of them is a cranked out here. The other one is a well thought out, well fabricated, massive environment with multiple interactions and things that have been play tested and accounted for and painstakingly, developed and put through a rigorous testing process, presumably. Now, Grand Theft Auto 6 hasn't released, but why is it every Grand Theft Auto that comes out is phenomenal? Okay, the online didn't work on the one. Yes, fair. Fair enough. Okay, we're not saying that they're an impeccable studio as well, that they don't need to constantly show love to their games. But you know what you could do when you, unfortunately, very disheartening, weren't able to jump on Grand Theft Auto Online. You could play the campaign and play the game. So, like the whole thing was released, okay? It wasn't a buggy, broken mess. That we remember. I don't know. Unless you had a version that was. You shouldn't have got that version. That's on you. Oh, got us there. Thank you, Captain Hindsight. Point is that you have Call of Duty, okay? Let's stop picking on Borderlands, okay? You got Call of Duty. Iteration after iteration after iteration after iteration is the same damn game, okay? They already got the stuff. They just tweak shit. And then they find ways to make it worse. Hey, let's find more ways to get money from players. Let's find more ways to frustrate online communities and players, okay? From affecting the time to kill to, this, that, the other, and tweaking different variables on that, all right? Algorithmically manipulating the gameplay? God, if there's one thing we can't stand, it's when a game tries to coddle us and hold our hand because we suck at it. We're okay sucking. Jeez. Game companies, stop trying to hold our fucking hand. Arena, we don't need you to mana flood our opponent if they're kicking the shit out of us. We expect the same in return. Not saying that you do Arena, we haven't seen your algorithms. Okay? Call of Duty. We don't need you giving us extra health or making our opponent's bullets more shitty because we suck and can't stay our ass in cover. That's on us. Okay? Or we don't get good. Again, that's on us. Don't coddle us and then make us think that, oh man, our build's pretty good. I can't believe we're not running a flak jacket and man, we just took like 13 fucking bullets point blank and shot that guy once in his foot and he we got the kill. Don't coddle us, Call of Duty. It's a rated M adult game. We should get our ass kicked when we deserve to get our ass kicked. And we, as gamers, would like to kick ass on occasion when we're matched up against anyone who might possibly be worse than us at the game. All right? We don't need to win every round. Sure, everyone loves winning. That's why you're wanting to join Chatty Coffee Crew. And because of that, that's why the only price of admission is just showing up. This show will never be behind a paywall, okay, saying like, hey, oh, nice to see you as well. Yeah, welcome. We've been talking about games and remasters and remakes. And by we, I mean pretty much just us. So, everyone gets what they get. But yes, welcome. Hopefully you have got your coffee. We got a little bit left here. We'll still kick it for a minute. We know how important it is for the day on a lot of individuals to interact with shitty internet celebrities, which is us. So, yes, welcome all ones of you. Oh, and it started getting cold. We chugged it anyway. That's okay. But yes, games, remasters, remakes. We were talking about Call of Duty, man, and, we not needing to be coddled as gamers or, be protected as gamers, have our feelings hurt because our opponents, blasting us every time we spawn in. As long as they're not spawn camping and you make the gameplay fun and the game elements fun and the mechanics fun, we're okay losing. We're okay not getting, one up over on our opponent. We don't 1v1 people. Why don't you 1v1 me, bro? What the fuck? Is that the new we'll catch you after school? We'll go 1v1 you, bro. We're going... It doesn't, Yes, you're better at a computer game. Great job. Nowadays, Call of Duty just generally sucks. Wholeheartedly agree there. We deleted that a good ways back, for sure. It's been the same game, exactly. We were talking about that with games and comparing. You can take something like Grand Theft Auto, look at their iterations that come out, same elements, same type of gameplay, but they're different games. Every single one is completely different, okay? Vice City runs completely different than Belichick in 4. Nico Belichick, the character. Part 5, you're switching between 3 completely different characters, okay? They add elements, they're different games. Call of Duty. The only thing they're changing to that is how the player base interacts with each other by trying to get more money out of certain players and or by manipulating the game itself to make the time to kill messed up. And that deteriorates and diminishes the entire game. We love more realistic stuff anyway. So when you take stuff and make it even more unrealistic, it becomes horrible in our eyes. We would much rather run through Hell Let Loose, which we love, okay? The walking simulator as it is. We enjoyed it. Yeah. Well, the only thing we didn't like about a lot of the elements of period of Call of Duty's time, okay? And I think it was around the Infinite Warfare. Now, we rocked that campaign. We liked that campaign, okay? When they started getting all of the excessive running on walls and moving around maps and being able to run on a wall, jump off a map, and then twist and turn, and then 90-degree angle, run on another side to get around the level and stuff like that, when there were so many elements of the verticality, okay, which we're okay with verticality in a game. Look at Titanfall, stuff like that, like Titanfall 2, okay? We're not opposed to it, but when it's supposed to be a military-esque type endeavor in game, man, we're not saying that, yes, it's not future warfare and it's not takes on, bodysuits, things like that, or, different gear, harnesses they can wear that afford them the opportunity to do it. We're just saying that needs to be not Call of Duty, okay? And they were onto something a little bit with it, man, as far as, the future-esque elements. But with it being Call of Duty, that's why there was such a call for that. We want to return to boots on the ground. All right, and that's why they dropped the, Call of Duty, here's a chest on the beach. Loot box, motherfucker. Oh, what'd you get? I better buy one too. Everyone on the beach getting packages. Supply drop. I got a new skin for my gun. Can you see it? No, it's on your pistol. I can't fucking see it. Oh, I mean, AK anyway. All right, people were buying this shit, and, yeah. Whatever. We had our fun with, Call of Duty World War II as well. All right, we loved the little elements of, building mechanics they tried to implement in the game modes and stuff like that, all right? There's elements of all the games that are fun, okay? If they weren't inherently fun, they didn't inherently have a player base, they wouldn't keep cranking them out to try and make more and more and more money off them. Us as gamers, though, we're at the point, though, where we're not purchasing these games, okay? If they're hitting Game Pass, different story. We're already shelling out that monthly subscription. All these loot boxes started with Skyrim Horse Armor shit. We never bought no Skyrim Horse Armor, but you know what? They shouldn't have started there absolutely as well. A lot of loot boxes for us seem to have come into play the minute that asshole wanted everyone to have cell phones and mobile gaming. You look at all of those old games and stuff like that where you have that time delay mechanic. Spend 20 gems and finish doing this task now, instantaneously, okay? You went from buying a game and playing a game where you could finish a job or a task and get it done instantaneously to having to wait real time for something to be completed. Say Clash of Clans, for instance, you gotta wait to upgrade this, to upgrade that, to build this. It's gonna take, 3 real days. Or, y'all motherfuckers give us $10, and you upgrade this, and you'll have 23 gems left over. Now, you need 24 gems to do it again, but with another one-time purchase, not a problem, right? Yeah, so loot boxes, one-time purchases, in-app purchases, digital storefronts, digital goods, games not being in completed states when they rolled out, DLC. DLC has always been for us a very not appreciated element to games, okay? Now, we're old school. We started at Atari. We play complete games. That's what we like to do. We want a game. We want to complete a game. We want to be done with a game. Then we want our next game, okay? We like games. There's some games that, you go and you start, playing, and if they're just open-ended and there's no, anything, and they're like, hey, this is the destiny of games, we're going to just kind of string you along for a while. Oh, hey, spend 30 more bucks. Hey, here's a raid and some new skins. Oh, you already bought that one? Well, all right, we'll string you along. Hey, a little free mission that we released. Okay, come back, play the game. Still playing Destiny this whole timeline. Hey, you buy Destiny. Okay, keep playing, buy a DLC. Keep playing, buy a DLC. Keep playing, buy a DLC. Instead of 3-part DLCs to one game that was completed when we were done with it, we would rather have those 3 DLCs become one new game. We would rather those 3 DLCs become the Destiny 2 that later became a different Destiny of the 2. Okay? Whatever, Assassin's Creed Black Flag was originally DLC. Man, that sounds, so yeah, I think that one was one of those cases where the DLC got too massive and too big for what the DLC was attempting to do or attempting to be. And that's the case in point. They started development thinking, hey, let's make this a DLC to just get another quick couple bucks from the consumer right? And it ended up being an entirely new game, which it should have been developed as from out of the gate. Think of the elements that they potentially sacrificed in the development process on that Assassin's Creed Black Flag by trying to gear everything for a DLC around the parameters of the Assassin's Creed that it, was a follow-up to. All right, that it was milking off the boat mechanics from. All right, and the ship warfare that was fantastic. Okay, they did a lot of stuff well in that one. But yeah, if you're developing something to be a partial entity and it ends up being massive and then you shit out a game, all right? A lot of people love Black Flag. A lot of people huge fans, and this is no secret to all ones of our fan out there. We do not like Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Yes, we are on the lower end of the spectrum. Tease us all you will. We're not a huge fan of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It's clunky to us. It really is. Now, fine-tunements, refinements, finesse, elements of it, maybe we need to jump back in, give it another chance, this, that, the other. But right out of the gate, when we're running around the island and stuff that you kind of start on and stuff, man, climbing on the trees, it wasn't as finessed and fine-tuned as other iterations were that we feel we had embarked upon in the Assassin's Creed universe. It was like a afterthought element of running around because you were supposed to be on the ship the whole time or for a part of the time or most of the time or whatever. We don't know. We weren't developing the game. But what we did do was play the game when it came out, and we personally didn't enjoy it. Now, most people did. We are on the very, very low end of the spectrum on the appreciation of Black Flag, and we are aware of that. Okay, but we accept that position, and we do stick by it because we didn't enjoy it. We're not going to fucking sugarcoat it and, lie. Be like, oh, yeah, we like Black Flag, just to not be picked on. We're okay being picked on. Whatever. Skull and Bones, man, we won't even touch Skull and Bones, man. I don't even think we touched that one on a cheap. Man, a lot of people loved the Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Now, for punk rockers like us that actually technically opened for the band Black Flag, yes, on a technicality, a lot of people don't know that about us, but technically we did. We opened for Black Flag and the Queers. I believe it was December of 24. But anyhow, we were never big fans of the game, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and we don't feel that you're missing much, though the majority of the player base probably would say otherwise and say that you are. But we don't even think we would touch Skull and Bones if it was even an option for us to touch Skull and Bones. That shit was, they should have scrapped that right out of the gate and reportioned the assets elsewhere. Now we don't even know where that game sits. All we did was keep up with how shitty it was doing when it was released, just because that content's kind of like, for gamers, I mean, it's negative stuff out there in the world, and, we really shouldn't be honing in on that because there's so much negativity already. But, I mean, hell, we picked on Borderlands for like 10 minutes straight, just because it was fun for us. You're an asshole. Well, Yeah. Skull and Bones or Cyberpunk on release. Well, we would take Cyberpunk on release. However, you have to account for the fact that we had a Series X when that game came out, so it was in a playable state. And Cyberpunk universe, Cyberpunk concept, Cyberpunk design is something completely unique for the type of game it was offering. Now, there are other Cyberpunk games out there, other elements of the Cyberpunk, elements added to human elements and stuff, and the combining of the mechanical and the bionic mechanical, whatever. You had those before. You had games like that. You could even go as far as games like Prototype using elements like that, even though alien tech, whatever, okay. A lot of stuff that you could say, go to it. But we would definitely go with Cyberpunk over it, but we were afforded the opportunity to play a playable working copy. If we were rocking it on the Xbox One, or especially the PS4, we would probably take even more issues. So while Skull and Bones might be a very playable state, and while they released a game finally that might be completely playable, that game was in development for 8 years, changed hands 2, 3, how many times? And they just kept having to throw money at it to fix it and change it. And then the people that would play test it be like, what the fuck is this? Because you have, let's do a recent presidential play quote. You have a company that has been making a game for 8 years, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Well, true. Yeah, Skull and Bones. They jack that shit all sorts of up. That's totally on them. It might be in a playable state now, might be fun now, might have working mechanics, and be enjoyable in one iota shape or form. But I guarantee you they don't recoup their expenses on that one. Cyberpunk, potentially, they lost a lot of their ass. They lost most of their clout out of the gate. Okay? They failed on their release. You cannot understate that. But what really sucks about the case for Cyberpunk's failure is that was management. Management fucked up. They screwed up bad because that game should not have been released when it was released. They were so afraid of another delay, that management was like, nah, we need some money, man. Payroll, motherfuckers. And they shot themselves in the foot. Instead of just floating in the red that little bit longer, or holding out that little bit longer, making it that little bit better, going back on their word and saying, hey, we can only release one copy of this game, and it's going to be on PC, and everyone else has to wait. Tough shit. Okay, now we planned and anticipated, and we're getting it on our Series X out of the gate. That's what we were anticipating, okay? If we had to wait to play it on our Series X and all the PC gamers were playing and shit, would we be sad? Absolutely. Would we be like, oh man, they said it would release and it didn't? Yes. Would we be completely disappointed? Yes. Would it be for the right reasons if the company did that? 100% yes. Okay? Management probably could have made the call, and whether it was Xbox saying, hey, this shit needs to be able to run on our old software or not, but the management at CD Projekt Red and, everyone there at Cyberpunk, they needed to be completely honest and just shit can and scrap those other iterations of the game. It shouldn't have come out on the PS4, and it shouldn't have come out on the Xbox One. And they should have gone back on their word and said, sorry, this game is too massive, this game is too epic, and this game will suck too bad if we drop a release on this platform. You'll hate us for it. But instead, this company said, well, release it. We're not pushing that shit back again. Hurry up, code monkeys, and get to fucking work. Okay? They were bad call. They ended up, I believe, refunding a lot of iterations and copies, and I believe the PS4 version got pulled from online digital stores, and I believe there were honored returns of physical games that had been opened that companies would never, in other times or circumstances, take back a return for. Once it's open, it's yours. Not in this case. It was pretty nuts. So, definitely a different time. Game mechanics and game development, hey, if that's what you want an episode on, it's yours. Is that what you want tomorrow to be? Game mechanics and development. We should write that down. Oh, for fuck's sake. Game M. That's not working out so well. We should have a pen. Here we go. Game mechanics and development. Is that right? Mechanics and development. Mechanics. We'll try and remember that. And then we'll have to pad the episode out. So, it might not be good, and if it's not, that's kind of your fault. None of them are good. Okay, then don't worry about it. It's not your fault at all. That's on us. Entertain better. How? Don't do it. Oh. Fair point. Anyhow, All right, so tomorrow then it's decided. Game development and mechanics. Game development and mechanics. Ah, good. We'll be able to talk about Damari Games. They're great. They're an indie little independent studio. They make a lot of cool stuff. They got a Luke the something, Luca, Lukka. It's on Steam. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll have to remember what that is completely called. You got to download and everything, man. It's on the desktop. Anyhow, it's a fantastic, play. Definitely be a bigger stream. It's kind of strange. Well, we're not a bigger stream yet because Asmund Gold forgot to give us his bump. The fuck, Asmund? What are you doing? You're on the internet like all day. You haven't stumbled across this shit? No, I delete my cache. Oh, well, that's why. But, the bump actually works reverse with us, too. We actually lose subscribers. So we probably don't want that. Everyone who needs to find it will find it for sure. And everyone who hasn't found it yet, it's because they're still going to Starbucks and they're waiting in line on their coffees. Look, we finished a whole cup. They're not even here yet. We've been doing this for an hour. They're probably pissed. Like, I'm super late for work now. What the fuck, Todd? Where's my coffee? Like, sorry, we're brewing this from last night. It's like, thanks, Todd. Is that decaf or regular? It's both. It doesn't matter what you order. They're all the same fucking drink. Or maybe it's just ours. Messed up. Every time. And they took eggnog off the menu. You know what? If tomorrow's episode isn't about the game development and mechanics, it's going to be about Starbucks taking eggnog lattes off of their fall menu. You know what, Starbucks, you need? Eggnog lattes on your fall menu. We refuse to get anything from you until you bring that back. It's like the McRib for us, only it's not the fucking McRib, which is a gray sandwich. Have you had a McRib recently? I don't think that's right. I don't know. Now, we're not saying it's a gray sandwich because the red sauce on it, but, that's a whole other thing altogether. But lo and behold, if you want to beat us out of here, now's your chance because we're about to dip. So we don't need your subscription. We need your money. So downvote the shit out of this and give us a buck. Get off our lawn.